So Seamore's is a New York City-based sustainable seafood restaurant. We've got 5 restaurants here in the city. You're now at our lovely newest restaurant, the Upper East Side, 73rd and 3rd. Seamore's is all about ocean health combined with like really fun beachy vibes. So at our core, our DNA is ocean health and our seafood supply chain and how we source our fish. But at the same time, we want to have really great experiences, delicious food, fun place. We're not preachy. We don't want to tell you how to think, but we do want to make an impact on the world. The seafood supply chain is kind of complicated, and so we're trying to crack that code. And the most important thing we've found is to sell the fish that the fishermen are catching, not necessarily the fish that you might want. So that's very antithetical to like the way a lot of chefs work, which is, all right, I want this very specific cut of meat or fish, and I need it this way every day for my dish. And if you do that, you then it's impossible to source seafood in a sustainable way. And so we call it's about the dish, not the fish, meaning you can rotate fish into the same dish. And if you came in here, like right now we have a swordfish on our menu, and by the end of the shift tonight we may not, right? Because swordfish is abundant, we don't normally have it, but it's being caught locally, and we're selling it, but we may not have it tomorrow. And that's how our whole supply chain works. Farm fish can have a bad name, and there are some terrible fish farms out there. And so what we've learned is you got to be really careful about how you do it, but it's very much part of the solution. So we're really proud, and actually we're going to show you today a Hudson Valley steelhead. So this is a locally farmed steelhead from a couple hours north of New York that couldn't be a more sustainable fish, and it's delicious.
And that I believe we're having as part of the Real Deal, which is why am I telling you? Why don't you tell us what the Real Deal is?
The Real Deal is really the center of our menu, and that is vegetables that rotate seasonally. You pick your fish, you pick your sauce. We've already picked the vegetable. So we have a cauliflower mash, Brussels sprouts, and delicata squash on our Real Deal right now. That'll actually change in a week to our spring items, which will be asparagus and corn, so more summery. So that rotates 4 times a year. But the key there is that you can pick your fish, and sometimes those fish are rotating all the time.
Which is, to your point, it's the dish, not the fish.
It's the dish, not the fish. And that dish is very healthy. It's a simply seared on a plancha piece of fish, whether it's swordfish or steelhead or haddock or hake or whatever. But we don't only have healthy food. This is not a health food concept. It's 100% sustainable, right? We do not mess around with our seafood supply chain. We don't pick and choose. Today we're going to have a non-sustainable shrimp from, Vietnam or China or something like that. But on the health food level, we're not a health food restaurant. You can get delicious, healthy, vegan, vegetarian food, seafood, but you also get fried food. So we've got delicious fish and chips or fried fish tacos. So it's not all healthy, but it's all very sustainable.
And this is your 5th restaurant, you said, right?
Yeah.
And are you all in Manhattan, right?
No, one in Dumbo. So all in New York. Yep.
And are you planning on expanding outside of New York City at all?
We are.
Really?
Yeah,
are you ready to announce that?
I'm ready to announce. Yeah, for sure. All right. So our 5 restaurants in New York are Chelsea, Midtown, Downtown, Brookfield Place, Upper East Side where we are here, and then Dumbo. We are opening in Clarendon, Virginia, in the summer, so in August probably. Clarendon, Virginia is part of Arlington, which is right across the river from Georgetown, so it's like Washington, D.C.
Right.
And then we're opening in Darien, Connecticut a year from now. And so those are both done deals. One's under construction and one is in the design stage.
Now, a lot of the seafood here is also local, right? It's coming from Long Island Sound.
Yeah, a lot of it is very local.
So are you going to be doing some Chesapeake stuff in Clarendon?
Yes. This could be a plug for a chef. We're looking for a chef, and we're interviewing a chef in the Chesapeake area in Clarendon. And so, it's really important that we are connecting with a different supply chain in Clarendon than we are here in New York City. And so that's what's really exciting is we take the sort of the overall package of this brand, and then we're going to plug in a different set of seafood. So it's really important. We will not have the same menu in Washington, D.C. We will have much more local Chesapeake, Potomac-based seafood.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we're here in off hours on a
Yep.
rainy day, so it's quiet. But how's business?
So it's interesting. Business has been getting much better. So this new restaurant where we're in right now, we opened it in January. I thought it was maybe the worst decision I've ever made. Before I did it, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to open up a restaurant right in the middle of like Omicron when it was disastrous. This restaurant's been a home run from day one. So it like legitimately is awesome. So I'm very optimistic about the future. All of the restaurants are kind of not all equally awesome. It's been really tough. So our Midtown restaurant and our downtown restaurant, where it's office-based, is not nearly where it was before, right? So it's neighborhoods, tourism is starting to come back. That's been really good. So Chelsea, Dumbo, this restaurant are great. And then Brookfield's coming around, and Midtown also, but it's not been like an easy, winter.
Yeah, shortly after I came out of quarantine, after being at home for 13 months, one of the first places I went was the Chelsea one. And I was there during rush hour, so I had oysters and I had kava, and I hadn't had oysters in a year and a half, and it was such a pleasure to get to do that.
Good to hear. Thank you for doing that. Oysters, I'll make a plug for oysters. Oysters are one of the most sustainable food you can have on this planet. They are called regenerative aquaculture. They actually help the environment. Every time you eat an oyster, you're cleaning the water. And so we're trying to sell as many oysters as we can.